This video comes to you in two parts. Not two different videos, just two chapters to the video. There is a making part, we'll get to that, but first, allow me to tell you a story. I discovered a couple years ago now that I love jigsaw puzzles. Adore them. I have since collected many, but I'm actually pretty picky about which puzzles I want to own and to work, so I'm constantly searching for new-to-me puzzle companies so I can pore over their wares. So earlier this year, somebody recommended to me that I check out the jigsaw puzzle company Wentworth. And excited to see new puzzles and maybe even purchase one, I went straight to their website, started scrolling through their catalog of products, and warning bells immediately went off in my head. Yeah, it was pretty obvious to me that they were using AI-generated images on their puzzles. This made me exceptionally sad because jigsaw puzzles are such an incredible medium to bring human-made art to the masses. Whether paintings or illustration or photography, a jigsaw puzzle takes artwork and makes it not only more interactive, but also, let's be real, more affordable to the average person. I may not be able to afford actual paintings or famous photographs to hang on my wall, but I can generally afford a puzzle, and the act of putting that puzzle together is going to cause me to look really closely at that artwork, to study it and appreciate it and get to know it in great detail. People tell me about speed puzzling competitions and give like advice on how to puzzle faster, and I'm like, I don't want to puzzle faster. I want to take my time. I want to enjoy puzzling over this artwork. I've run across other puzzle companies that seem to be operating entirely off of AI images, because yes, I do random Google searches for puzzles every now and then, but finding AI all over Wentworth's website was especially disappointing to me. They've been around since 1991. They have a reputation for having high quality puzzles, and they have a unique hook with the whole wooden jigsaw puzzles and the unique puzzle shapes that they do. They didn't found the company after discovering that they could slap AI images on cheap cardboard and hawk it at $20 a box. So even though I was pretty sure that I was seeing AI all over Wentworth's catalog, I did want to double check. I did a Google search of Wentworth puzzles AI and immediately found this blog post from the company, ironically released just a few weeks before my search. It read, AI images and our puzzles. At Wentworth Wooden Puzzles, craftsmanship, creativity, and quality have always been at the heart of what we do. As part of our ongoing commitment to these values, we have made the decision to remove AI-generated images from our puzzle collection. Going forward, beginning with our new Spring 2026 puzzle collection, our focus will be on celebrating and supporting real-world artists and their incredible work, creating premium quality wooden jigsaw puzzles that reflect originality, skill, and artistic integrity. We believe this approach allows us to stay true to our heritage and sustainability values while continuing to offer a diverse and engaging range of puzzles for everyone. Above all, we take pride in championing? Why is that such a hard word for me to say? Authentic artistry, collaborating with talented artists to create captivating, handcrafted wooden puzzles that are as beautiful as they are satisfying to complete. You will see some AI-generated images in the clearance section of our website while we sell through this stock at discounted prices, though it is our intention to be as AI image-free as possible as quickly as possible. Why does this increase my disappointment exponentially? This memo is worded as though somebody forced the company into using AI, and now they have decided to valiantly rise above such things. And some people will argue that companies like this, companies that are built on the backs of creativity and craft and art made by humans, are indeed sometimes forced to use AI by their investors or their shareholders. But I think that's a pretty shitty excuse. My brain automatically starts picturing the scene when I run across stuff like this. Was there a meeting, your traditional group of employees around a conference table? Who suggested, hey, we could stop paying the artists who make the art on our puzzles and just generate AI images instead? Was it the CEO thinking, this is the direction of the future, this is where all companies are going? The head of finances desperately trying to save a buck? An intern hoping to impress the higher-ups with their new ideas? And then I try to picture the response from everyone else in the room, regardless of who suggested it in the first place. Was there an hour of arguments? Were there graphs and pie charts? Did anyone at any point raise their hand and go, y'all know we're gonna get a ton of backlash from our customers for doing this, right? Did anyone in the room at any point discuss the ethics of this decision? But I think that's really the crux of it for me. Did they think that no one would care? Because I get that with some companies. There's definitely a horrifically large number of people in this world who do not give a crap about the use of generative AI. And so depending on what a business's demographic is, there's a large chance that they could get away with using generative AI and never hear a peep about it. There are some, there are many, it's happening all around us. But just as a person who likes and works puzzles, not even as a company that should have tons of market research on their audience, I immediately go, oh no. That's not gonna work for a puzzle company, especially one that has a reputation for creativity and quality. Obviously, your audience is going to care. At least a large enough number of them that you as the company should also care. Just by the bottom line, even if we take ethics totally out of it. So the conclusion that I come to, which granted is just imagined in my head based on logic and a knowledge of how human beings work, is that they knew when they made this decision that some portion of their audience, of their customer base, would be mad about it and would stop buying their work. Oh hey, the edge piece that I never found. And they likely did some estimations and decided that they would save more money not paying human artists than they would lose from angry customers never shopping with them again. And this blog post or memo or whatever you want to call it is proof to me that they were very wrong. So you know what? A round of applause for everyone who has ever made it known that they will not stand for generative AI slop products, because clearly it not only makes a difference, but also we have been vastly underestimated by a number of companies. Both your money and your attention make a difference, however small. Don't you love how we say, pay attention? Because your attention is literally a currency. Shooting out a bunch of flowery words about integrity and sustainability and originality and artistic authenticity after making the choice to use generative AI in the first place comes across as hella fake. Because all this tells me is that you wanted to use generative AI and it didn't work. You must have gotten kicked where it hurts, and now you're walking it back and pretending that this was not a decision made by informed human adults who run your company. Like, there was not even an apology in there, much less any form of owning up to having made a terrible choice or explanation of why you would do such a thing. Anyway, I wanted to rant about this a little. I wanted to tell you the full story because, quite frankly, it pissed me off, but also it gave me a silly little craft idea. I am going to release my rage at this random puzzle company and still probably never shop there because no thank you, and instead use my human hands and my human brain to make a probably really bad but totally human-made wooden jigsaw puzzle of my own. So here's my general thought. Hello! Oh, what a nice baby. I've got plywood and then I also have like an MDF board, but I think this will be best. And I kind of want to get an actual like normal traditional puzzle piece shape right in the middle, but you can't cut right angles with a jigsaw without like losing something, you know? Like you can't turn. And my plan is to cut this up into a puzzle that can then go back together rather than like cutting out different pieces that I have to make perfectly match. My thought is more, can I just cut this, make 0 mistakes, and then put it back together like a puzzle? So you can't just cut out a puzzle piece with a jigsaw. It doesn't turn that way. So I'm gonna have to design a thing where the puzzle piece in the center has pieces around it that allow me to get the jigsaw in the direction that I need it to be. If that doesn't work, I have other chunks of wood. I've always got chunks of wood. So then maybe I will try just cutting out separate pieces and trying to get them to fit back together. Look at his little sleepiness. You're so nice. You never sleep on your beds. Is it just because I'm sitting here? Yeah, you're so sweet. I love you so much. What would you consider the most standard puzzle piece shape? Like, obviously most puzzles feature all of these, but I think 2 innies, 2 outies feels the most generic. It's showing up in most images. This one literally calls it standard. I wonder if there's a mathematical answer to which piece shapes show up most frequently in a common jigsaw. I don't know, but I'm going with this one. I think it'll give me the best shot at getting in there with an average-sized handheld jigsaw, because there's only 4 right angles. Whether I can saw these tight-ass curves, well, we shall find out. Okay, so this seems like a decent size. Hello again. Squish, squish. It seems like a doable size at least. I think I was originally thinking a little smaller for the central piece, but I did make it pretty skinny here in the center, so this seems good. And then the rest of the pieces surrounding it, I'll probably just like freehand, maybe even after I cut out the central one, because you basically just need the 4 cuts that come into these 4 points, and then the hope is that I can do that whole cut in one go, and then come in and do that whole cut. So this would need to come in like this, actually. I don't think that's originally how I drew it. I need to hit each corner from a different angle so that I can do each side. Yeah? Well, let's cut this out first. Okay. And we can get rid of this. Maybe. I do want to center it pretty well, but also I don't entirely mind if it's not perfectly lined up. Let's try that. This is a very bad Sharpie. I feel like these are the things you never think to like restock as they go down. Stuff like pencils and pens and Sharpies and even like tape and stuff in the house. It's like I never ever think to go buy fresh ones. But then every time I use one that's running out, I'm like, you should really remember to buy fresh ones. I won't. Okay, so let's say sure. So that cut would be for here. So then this has to come off that way. And then this one, oh, like that. And this one like that. And then I think like all of these pieces I can just cut up on the fly. Can you even see that? It's very bright in here. I think you can see it now. Yeah? Yeah, sure. Let's go cut stuff up. While cutting that initial wavy entrance line was pretty simple, I almost immediately went off the marks once I got into those tighter curves. That's okay, it's not ruined. We adjust, we futz, we go off book, we keep on truckin'. I learned quickly that you have to go incredibly fast, like blade movement wise, not actually moving the saw itself fast, to get around those curves, and you really have to be holding the wood down because it wants to shake around and go flying. I probably should have used some vices, but just putting my full weight on it worked pretty well. Is this unsafe? Yeah, probably. The blade was literally smoking at times. That's why this is not a tutorial. Don't do as I do. Make dumb and silly and fun art, but do it safely, kids. On the other hand, saws are by nature loud, incredibly fast, extremely sharp blades, so by nature they're kinda never safe. It's mainly the noise that gets to me. There's a house near us that is under construction at the moment, and I was still the loudest thing in the entire neighborhood. Matt took the opportunity to drum without being a bother to anyone, because I was drowning him out. With all of our modern inventions, why can't we make power tools that are quiet? Huh? Who's working on that conundrum? Well, in its very simplest and most splintery form, I have made a handmade jigsaw puzzle. And I wouldn't even call it like a kindergarten level jigsaw puzzle, mostly because it is currently way too dangerous to give to a child that young. But like, it's not incredibly simple. It's like a solid first grader level. Now that I've mixed it up, let me actually see how long it takes me to work the puzzle. Central piece is easy enough. Hi, BB. It's not as easy as, I would have thought. I'm kinda really pleased with this. There were a bunch of knots on the back, and then of course my Sharpie on the front, so I can kinda tell with most pieces which side goes up, but like this is one that, I think it's this side. Yeah, because it's all the bigger waves of grain. Some of them are pretty hard to tell though. We gotta get serious here. Aha, see, that one went that way. What goes in there? This guy goes in here. Oh, they were both upside down, that's why. Okay. I'm so incredibly happy that I'm not able to just immediately within 2 seconds put this together. Nope. No, but wait. Haha. I'm definitely not looking at the wood grain enough, kind of because I'm planning to cover that up. So it's not technically gonna be there to help in the future, but at the moment, the wood grain could tell me some stuff. Okay, now that should be pretty easy to find in theory. Is it this? Yes, it is. Oh, that goes there, okay. And that goes there, yes. We're getting places. Uh-huh. Okay. Boom! Y'all, that took some effort. I'm really happy about this. Like, I frickin' cut that myself. That's pretty cool. So I think maybe the first thing that would come to mind is sand all of these pieces so they are not so dangerous, and then paint them. Like, paint an image over the whole thing so that it's like a normal puzzle, right? I don't really want to make a normal puzzle though. It's already not a normal puzzle. I think I'm gonna get fabric involved. I think I got sawdust in my eye. Are we surprised? Is this choice based on my passionate distaste for sanding? Maybe. Okay, yes. But sometimes avoiding processes you dislike can lead to creative problem solving. And in this case, I think it's gonna be a lot more fun to have this fabric covered puzzle where you have to go off of the shapes entirely to put it together because there is no image. It's also gonna be a lovely little ode to a bunch of my past projects. For starters, I want all the pieces to be a little bit squishy on top, though I can't put any of that squish around the sides or I don't think it would fit together anymore. I played around with some various options to see which squish style most appealed to me and settled on the thickest one I have, this poly batting. I'm cutting the pieces ever so slightly bigger than the wood, just so they curl the tiniest bit over that sharp edge, and then I tested out the woven fabric covering first. It's not bad, it does kinda work, but it works the least on concave curves. There's just not enough fabric to cover the angles, yeah? I switched to using my stretch material, mostly the scraps, although I do have a few really cute ones in the closet that I wanted to add, for almost all of the pieces, only putting woven material on the ones with very slight concave curves or none at all. I didn't pre-plan the layout of colors and patterns either, so I was just kind of picking and choosing in the moment so that colors felt pretty evenly spread over the whole square. That's cool. And y'all, I'm really jonesing for a fancy staple gun at the moment. Are they called pneumatic staple guns, or am I totally pulling that out of nowhere? The ones that are hooked up to an air compressor, so they shoot out staples with great force, but no force from your own hand. Sounds like fun. Not today though, so I'll just build up some hand muscles. Wee. Y'all, this is making me so happy. I don't know why, but it's just so freaking cool. So last night, I got all of the pieces done except the central one. The goal was to make sure every piece around the edges was a patterned fabric. I wanted it to be like as busy and as bright as possible. And then the central piece, to make it stand out, I wanted to do in a solid color. So I threw a few on here to see which was best, and I think this one is gonna work the best. It is a bit of a mottled tie-dye-y solid color, but it's really nice and bright. I think it'll stand out super well. The double layer of fabric between all the pieces now, because you have, the fabric around one edge and the fabric around the other, is making all of this like really tightly squished together, but I think it's just the right amount. Like, it's squishing together nice and tightly. Like, look at this, those two pieces are really stuck together, but you can still squish it in there. It's not too tight to where it's not fitting anymore, which is good. Okay, we've got the batting on. This is a little thin for this. It'll be fine, but I'm just gonna start with the shortest ones to make sure I get them on here. Ooh, y'all, my hand right here, super duper sore. Because it's stretch fabric, you can like pull it around all the curves, but I'm also trying not to pull it too much because I don't want the front to be pulled so thin that you can see through it. So on these deep curves, you kind of have to start from the innermost point first and then work your way out. This one's gonna be hard because it's very thin here. So there's gonna have to be a bit of stretching and some finger dexterity. That worked though. Ta-da! And yes. Yes. Yay! That worked out, quite frankly, a lot better than I was expecting it to. But we're not done. I wanna cover the backs because it'll make it look nice. And also on some of them, I think it'll help with long-lastingness, because especially on the ones with these tighter curves, the fabric is really being pulled on the back. So having something sandwiched on there to hold that down even better than the staples, I think will be helpful. And I have a bunch of leftover rug backing bits from the stump rug. So I think I can glue these on the back. I just want to use a pretty solidly intense glue. I don't really have any rubber cement or something at the time, but I do have, I have carpet glue that I originally used on the stump. It's kind of intense in the cleanup zone, but I think it would be the best option because it is also very intense in the gluing zone. Cutting out all the backing pieces added even more calluses to my sore hand. Huzzah! Art is pain. Okay, so carpet glue, right? Maybe. Maybe not right. I pretty quickly realized these were gonna need to be weighted or pressed for the drying process, and y'all, why do I not have a press or some sort of designated weight collection for this very thing? Yearbooks it is. Cool. I just tested out 3 and then wanted to wait for some results before I plowed ahead gluing the rest. Could have gotten up, but I was already watching the lovely Morning Mercury, so I might as well just sit here and wait. Hey look, that seems pretty good. Oh. Let's test more glues. I did a spray glue, I did a PVA glue, I did more pressing, and in the end, I returned to carpet glue and lots of pressing. Well, that took way longer than expected, namely because I had to keep rotating all of the pieces through the only 2 stacks of books that I was using as a pressing system. Could have just gotten more, but no. I think building a press really needs to go on my to-do list. I know it's pretty simple. This is ready to go now though. Safe pieces, squishy all around, no sharp edges. I made a puzzle. I kind of want Matt to put it together though. Like I want an outsider's experience on it. So, oh Mateusz! So Matt is not even slightly a puzzler, and he agreed to work this one somewhat begrudgingly. Fair enough, we can't all be obsessed with jigsaws. Thank you, Matt. It was really interesting to watch someone work a puzzle who doesn't have any of the basic methods, I guess. Like, it made me realize how many tricks and techniques I've developed over the last couple years of puzzling, even without trying to be super fast at it. I was also just lightly delighted by his struggles, because it meant that I'd made a decently difficult puzzle. I think we can bump this up to 2nd grade level, y'all. Yay!
Okay. I don't know how long that took.
28 minutes! I could dump this in a box now and call it done. Handmade wooden jigsaw puzzle, wabam! But I'm not done, because I don't want to do that. This is not just a jigsaw puzzle, it's also a work of art. And what better way to store a work of art than framed on the wall? Y'all, this puzzle is so hard. Top 3 most difficult I've done, I would say, and talk about looking closely at details. I have literally been identifying individual pieces of dust. It's from Sister Golden. They make gorgeous artwork out of pressed flowers and plants and other natural materials, and I'm pretty sure they photograph them because they aren't permanent pieces of art. They reuse all the materials for future pieces, which is so cool. I was thrilled when they started selling puzzles of their work for the exact reason that I originally said. Now I can have a piece of their artwork in my home, it's interactive, and it was fairly affordable. And these are the puzzles that I feel like are harder to find because they're not just from a puzzle company, they're from individual artists who put their artwork on products and sell them. So if anybody has an artist that you love that you know sells puzzles, particularly 1,000-piece puzzles, because I'm kind of picky, do tell. Anyway, I'm absolutely chuffed to bits over my massive, chunky, handmade wooden jigsaw puzzle. It was such a random project, but one that I had so much fun making. And it's so cool to have this giant piece of artwork at the end of our hallway now. I'm smiling every time I walk past it. Did I have to take apart and saw down the edges of all the pieces on 2 whole sides of that puzzle to make it fit in the frame? I don't want to talk about it. But I'm so proud of myself for achieving something that really fits my original idea to a T. You know, usually my ideas come from inspiration, either from nature or from seeing the incredible work of other artists and desiring that creative process for myself. But this one came out of sheer spite And I'm okay with that. Spite's a good reason sometimes. I took my frustration and had some fun. So if generative AI has been pissing you off lately, take revenge by crafting something with your own two hands and your own beautiful brain. Make bad art. Indulge in useless creativity. Craft silly stuff. And don't forget to drink lots of water while doing so. Why do you film on Tuesdays?
Thank you. You're stepping on my hair.
He ain't done.
This looks like such a puzzle piece.
Yeah, it is a puzzle piece. You've brought this upon yourself. Y'all, can't freaking stop bleeding.
Do you have delicious little paws?
Everything is fine. Okay, did we have fun?